I'm Lisa Glickman. I'm your homegrown chef, and today we are talking cherries, and I'm really excited about this recipe. I'm going to be doing a rack of lamb, some beautiful lamb chops that are going to be flavored with some Indian spices, garam masala, some cumin, some mint, and we're going to make a sauce called a gastrique. Now, all it means is it's just a sweet and sour sauce. It starts with some sugar, and then we put in some vinegar, and then we put in some stock. It's an amazing sauce, and we're using sour cherries in that sauce. Then we're going to make a raita to go along with our lamb. And a raita is an Indian kind of a salad dish that's based with yogurt. And this is going to have some cucumber and some mint and some serrano chili and some sweet cherries. So we've got cherries going on all over this dish. It's so good, you're going to love it. So let's get started with our rack of lamb. I have this beautiful rack of lamb here that I've taken all of the nice fatty parts off and given it a beautiful French. So all the bones are clean and all the silver skin and the fat are off of it, and we're just going to coat this with some olive oil. Just give it a little coat like that, and then we're going to use some garam masala. Now, garam masala is a spice blend, so you can get it. You can get different types of garam masalas, but try to get a really good quality one. And we're just going to sprinkle a little of this garam masala all over this lamb. It smells so good. It has coriander and turmeric and cinnamon. It's kind of sweet and spicy. It's just really delicious. Then we're just going to use a little bit of salt and pepper. There goes our pepper. Let's grab our salt back here. Give it a nice dusting of some salt. So we're making kind of a rub for the outside of this with the garam masala and the salt and pepper. So you just want to kind of rub this into the meat really nicely. Get it all coated, get it up off the plate. And then we're just going to simply give this a pan roast. So we're going to saute it in a hot saute pan. You want to use a nice stainless steel hot saute pan. I'm going to add just a little more oil in there just to make sure it doesn't stick. Just a touch. And then in goes our lamb. We're going to give this a nice brown on the outside, and then we're going to finish it in the oven, real gently in the oven. So we'll go ahead and let that sit and start on our gastrique. So we're going to start with a pan. We've got this pan pretty medium hot, and I'm putting in some sugar, probably 2 or 3 tablespoons. Now, we're going to make this into a caramel, so you want to watch this really carefully. It can burn really quickly. All we want to do is melt it down and get it to where it's a nice amber color. So let's do our cherry juice over here. I have these are just some pie cherries. So these are frozen pie cherries, Oregon pie cherries, and they are sour cherries, different than the sweet bean cherries, which are a darker red. These are the bean cherries, which are a darker color. And it's so wonderful that the season is short here in Oregon, but they're always available, canned, dried, frozen. You can get them any way. You just want to make sure they're in their own juice and not in a bunch of heavy syrup. So that's what these are doing. And I'm going to take these cherries and put them into my food mill. What this is going to do is take the skins off of them and just leave me with the nice juice. So around that goes. So now I'm just left with this beautiful cherry juice. Okay, I've got my cherry juice going here. My lamb is ready to be moved into the oven. We've got a nice brown on it, and we're almost there with our caramel for our gastrique. So let's go ahead and put this into an oven. I've got my oven at about 325, 350. I just want to gently finish cooking it in the oven. Okay, now we have our cherry juice that I've run through the food mill. You could actually use a food processor if you want to, and then make sure to strain out those skins and any kind of bits. We just want the pure cherry juice. So I'm going to put it through this little tiny strainer again, just to get anything. That's pretty good. The food mill does a great job of that. So watching our caramel, see how this is beginning to get a nice amber color to it? You want to keep an eye on this because the minute all that sugar melts, it's going to have this beautiful amber color. Okay, look at our caramel in here. This is what we're looking for, this pretty caramel color. We're just about there, getting that sugar all melted. You want to remember to keep an eye on this because it burns really quickly at this point. And remember too, this is molten hot, so don't let it get anywhere near your skin. Okay, then we're going to add our cherry juice and some balsamic vinegar, and when we add this, it's going to bubble up all over the place. So just make sure that you've got a pan that's big enough to hold it, and be very careful at this point. Okay, we have our beautiful color. Let's go ahead and add our cherry juice. And that caramel hardens back up, and don't worry about that. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. And we're going to add, that's probably about, I would say it's about a 1/4 cup of cherry juice. And then I'm going to add about a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. Now you can just kind of swirl the pan around, and we're looking for this to all remelt again. The caramel is going to remelt, and the vinegar and the cherry juice are going to reduce. We want to reduce this into a syrup. Meanwhile, let's get started with our raita. Now this dish is amazing. This is a yogurt-based salad dish, and so we're going to start with some yogurt. Now I love to use Greek yogurt because it's nice and thick and creamy. Now you can use a non-fat yogurt, but everything tastes better with a lot of fat in it. So the thicker, you want a nice thick yogurt. You could even mix it if you want to use whole fat yogurt and some non-fat to kind of cut back on a little bit of the fat, but I love this. So we're going to put about, let's put in about a cup. I'd say that's about a cup of Greek yogurt in there. And next we're going to add a serrano chili. Now a serrano chili is hotter than a jalapeno and not as hot as a Thai bird. So there's a Thai bird chili that's a little bit smaller and green, and then the jalapeno, as you can see, is a little bit fatter than this serrano. So you can add the chili according to how hot you like it. If you like it really spicy, add more. If you want it less spicy, add less. Also, the seeds and the ribs inside the chili are what hold all the heat. So add it as you like it, as hot as you like it. Okay, and we just want to put a nice fine dice on this chili. And that goes right into the yogurt. Next, we're going to add a cucumber. Now, I've got an English cucumber here, the seedless cucumbers. I like those because, and we can go ahead and we're going to add everything, including the peel. We're keeping an eye on our gastrique over there because we're almost ready to add some more to that. So we'll put a nice dice on this cucumber. And that adds some nice freshness. That cucumber is going to be nice and cool along with that chili. You're going to love this. It's so good. Let's check on our lamb here. We want to make sure that we don't overcook our lamb. Still has a few minutes to go, so we'll leave it in there for a while. Okay, the next thing we're going to add to this raita is some ginger. Now, this is cheating a little bit, but I really like this ginger in this tube. I use ginger quite often, and when I have a piece in my refrigerator, sometimes it goes to waste before I can use it. These tubes are really nice because I have it here, and then I can just put the lid back on and save it in my refrigerator. So we're going to add about, I'll say that's about a 1/2 teaspoon of chopped ginger. The next thing we're going to add, keep an eye on this. See how this syrup is all melting down? We're going to put a little bit more heat under that because we just want that melted down to a syrup. So get our caramel all incorporated into that. So that's doing fine. Next, we're going to add a little cumin. So about a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. Just eyeball it like that. Look at the gastrique. This is right where we want it. See how this caramel has melted back into there, and that cherry juice and balsamic have reduced down to a syrup. Now we're going to add some beef stock. Now I've taken the trimmings from my lamb and I've put it into my stock to give it a little lamb flavor. So this is beef stock that I've used some of the pieces from trimming my lamb, and we're going to go ahead and put in some of this beautiful lamb stock. Now we'll bring that back up to a boil and let that reduce. Okay, we've got our cucumbers, our ginger, our serrano chilies, and our cumin all mixed up into this. Now we're going to add our star. These are our cherries. So I've taken some sweet cherries. If they're in season, they're great fresh, just, pitted chopped cherries. These happen to be some canned cherries that are just in their juice. Make sure that they're not in any kind of heavy syrup. So in go the cherries. The last ingredient we're going to put in is some fresh mint. So I have some fresh mint leaves here. So we'll just tear off a few of those. And the best way to do this is kind of roll them up into a cigar, and we're going to put a chiffonade. This is called a chiffonade on this mint. So then just slice it really thin like this. Okay, and in that mint goes, and our raita is done. Checking on our gastrique. We just want this to melt down and reduce down to where it's just kind of a syrupy consistency. And it smells incredible. I can smell some of that lamb stock and the beef stock. I smell the sweet cherry juice. And over here we have the nice cooling raita with the cherries and serrano chilies and ginger. It's going to be amazing. Now we've taken our lamb out of the oven. We've got we want to make sure that it has a nice medium rare to it because it's going to carry over cook. So we take it out when it's just about where we want it, but not quite. We're going to let it rest in the pan. Okay, now look at our gastrique. See how it's beginning to bubble and boil like that, where the bubbles are starting to cover the surface of the sauce? That's telling you that you're almost there. We want it to be this nice consistency of the syrup. So we're looking to get enough reduction on it without it completely boiling away. So when you see these bubbles all over the top of the surface, you're getting close. Okay, we're ready to plate. So I'm going to take this raita and put a nice bed down here and kind of make some room in the center to plate the rest of my ingredients. Then I've made some couscous over here, which the couscous is the perfect accompaniment for this lamb. So we're going to put down some couscous right in the center to act as a bed. That's how beautiful that is. Now look at our lamb. We've cooked this in the pan, finished it in the oven, and then it's very important to let it rest. We don't want all those beautiful juices to run out everywhere. So we've just got this beautiful pink on it. Just going to cut some chops. Let's say, I think we could use 2 or 3 per serving. So we're going to place our beautiful lamb chops right on top of that couscous. Oh, that's perfect. Now we're going to go to our gastrique, and we're finishing our dish by just draping some of this gastrique right over the top of that lamb. That is a beautiful dish. We have Indian spice garam masala lamb chops with a sweet cherry raita and a sour cherry gastrique. It's really good. You're going to love this.